Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials. We're never giving you the bullshit. We've been a while since we've recorded, Colby. You know how popular our film is, not because the people don't want to actually see with their own eyeballs what we've been saying, but we have a lot to. It seems like, again, we are vindicated each and every week in the things that we talk about. But I got a public announcement first, and I want you to discuss this too because you just gave me information I didn't know about. Denver Broncos Mile High View has purchased the All 22 film. That's the NFL coaches film, so we can break down all the players, all the plays. It's not a very popular thing because for some reason, Bronco fans just want to listen to shit that the other people say. They don't actually look at film, but we don't go that route. You know, we have we're dedicated to film review. We're not talking highlights either. We look at everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. And the NFL right now is not really letting too many people on. They're again in my opinion, the NFL is not a very good product. It's getting worse by the minute for a lot of different reasons. Their website has always been problematic. I think probably one of the reasons they're trying to commercialize it so much that it just trips over its own feet half the time. But right now, a lot of us can't get to the film. I know it's only preseason. Hopefully they'll have it worked out, but I can't even get into my account. Went in and then I got booted out. So again, this is supposed to be a film-centric channel. No bullshit. We'll show you the film. And even though if it gets people upset, it's not exactly what they want to see or it's not a highlight reel. So explain to me what you were talking about, Colby, that other people were having problems with the NFL website and the All-22.
So basically I try getting into the All-22 film because I've had it for a while now, and I couldn't get in as well. I got booted. I'm having the same issues as you are, and I know a lot of prominent people that are online that you can watch some film reviews on that actually do film review that are having the same problems as we are.
Exactly. So let's get on with that's our public announcement. Let's go and get into the talking points a little bit here. We're just going to outline this, and then anything you want to talk about, Colby. I said I'd like to discuss this lie by Sports Talk Radio that Elway has given Fangio everything he needs to win. We'll get into that. Colby, you said you'd watch Simmons' film before it all went down. You've got a take on that because we've been talking about Simmons in the film and what we've seen. The Broncos minicamp preseason doldrums. STR was bemoaning the fact that there's no enthusiasm. My question is that going to once again carry into the regular season? And do not blame Fangio for that, please. What I find interesting is that nobody is getting details, as I want to talk about this, on the exit granted to Aaron Rodgers. No details whatsoever. And I believe that what Aaron Rodgers was pounding the table for was to get something similar to Matthew Stafford, that deal. And has Elway turned Boland's organization into his own personal prison, where Elway is the warden, a.k.a. The Longest Yard? I don't know if any of you have seen the movie The Longest Yard, but it's almost like life, art imitating life. And is Drew Lock the most hated player by the front office? So, where would you like to start with this?
You lead it off.
Well, let's go start at the top, and then we'll work our way down. Let's go talk about the lie that STR has put out about Fangio's given all these corners. He's given all these corners to win all these games, although we have constantly showed, and the proof is in the pudding with the Super Bowl, what Fangio was doing when he was in Chicago versus what he's allowed to do here. Elway it was pointed out, thank goodness, by George Payton and the Denver Post that the Surtain was Elway's pick. That wasn't Fangio. So how can Fangio be given everything when he's not even allowed to really do it like he was in Chicago to get the players? He did everything to get Cleo Mack. I brought this up last week. He did everything in his power to make sure that he had somebody in the front of his plus the linebacking. Let's not forget that, to get that spearhead in the front seven to get in the quarterback's face. Nothing like that. It's all corner, 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 corner. Go ahead and give me your take on Fangio has been giving everything to win.
If Fangio was given everything to win, why didn't we get Savin Collins in the draft? That's my. Why didn't we keep Devin Bush? You could have had Bush in the linebacking core. You could have got Jordan Phillips. You could have got Roy Robertson Harris. You could have got Sheldon Rankins as in your front seven with Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. That's all I got to say about that. You're going to sit here and tell me that Surtain was not George Payton's. You're going to sit here and tell me that Patrick Surtain was Vic Fangio's and George Payton's pick. And I've continually said, and they're hyping this guy up like he's the next Champ Bailey, Deion Sanders. Like, I knew they were going to do it. But every time that they've showed bits and pieces of him, he's getting beat. And it's funny because every time he gets beat, they pan away really quick, and they don't want you to see that. Oh, no, we don't want you to see that. We don't want to show you that Jerry Jeudy's starting to drop passes. Who's the first people saying that? Us. So it's just the continuing bullshit lies that we're seeing time and time again over the past 5, 6, 7 years.
And that's why I had to start this channel, because I'm getting sick and tired of moron fans. There's a group of morons out there that, if the radio, sports talk radio, if they say, the sky is purple, it's sky is purple. It's just like, you can see it's blue or hazy or smoggy, whatever. But no, it's purple because they said so. This, they have no clue. They don't even want to know that George Payton came out, the Denver Post came out and said, this is Elway's pick. And it didn't take long. And you remember STR's like, Elway doesn't exist, They were backtracking immediately with that. So I'm not here for those people at all. And that's why we don't get the views, because if you're an idiot, then you don't want to hear this. This isn't what's going to appeal to you.
Yeah, I agree. Every time that, we sit here and tell you that, you keep telling us that Elway's given Fangio everything he needs to win. Now, that's total baloney, because if that was the truth, we would have Zavin Collins in our linebacking core. We would have Devin Bush in our linebacking core. We would have a Roy Robertson Harris on the D line that George Payton and Vic Fangio were wanting in this past free agency class. But nope, Elway had to be like, nope, we are going after a corner in Kyle Fuller and Ronald Darby that we're going to pay $10 million a year. So we're going to allocate a lot of our money to the cornerback core.
Cornerback core, correct. And corner. Completely blinded to what you saw in the Super Bowl, the formula to beat Patrick Mahomes and neutralize him. It was given. But you decided to go to 90s football. I don't like what those people have to say. Fine, let's just turn on the lights and pop the popcorn and see what happens, okay?
Well, so it's going to rear its ugly head again this year when they're going to get beat in the middle of the field. They're going to be soft in the middle and hard on the edges. And why? Oh my goodness, they're saying in camp that the run defense hasn't been that great. Oh, okay. Yep, well, it's going to rear itself again and again and again and again until we get a proper owner in place and proper responsible adults in the management and scouting and all of that can turn this team around. And we'll get to that later.
Well, hopefully that happens. We don't. I mean, that's another wild card too that we have no idea how that's going to pan out. Now, speaking of the defense, we had kind of continuing a conversation on the safety Simmons. Again, going back last year, I showed a complete defensive series during the Buffalo game, making the points of what we've seen with Simmons all year long. So I didn't edit. I just played all the series. And the hate I got for that, well, don't blame me for showing you film. And Simmons isn't living up to whatever it is that you have in your head about him. Don't blame the messenger. I'm showing you the film and saying, look. Oh, no, cherry pick. Oh, there was no cherry pick. It was all the complete series. That's where the whole thing I just didn't understand. Where's cherry pick coming from? It was the entire series. The defensive series from beginning to end. Except the only thing I did omit was like maybe if somebody fell down or it was a non-play kind of a thing. Just so you could see everything. So you took a look at Simmons again, film on Simmons, and what did you see?
When I did the all 22 on Simmons again, I wanted to go back and look at how Fangio's using him in a way that I've never seen him use Eddie Jackson and Adrian Amos for. That's what I was going to base my criteria on. And what I came out of that is Fangio's using him in a way that I can see how you're going to use Simmons because of his weaknesses, and he's covering a lot of his weaknesses. I think the main reason you see him a lot in the box is because he knows he doesn't have the linebacking core to. I mean, he doesn't. If you watch it, you know he doesn't have the linebacking core to neutralize the middle of the field. So that's why he used Simmons down there.
Simmons doesn't really do anything in the middle of the field. He doesn't. I mean, what I'm seeing.
That's where I'm saying, like, if you're gonna, and this is me personally, if I was Fangio, I think I would use Kareem Jackson more in the middle of the field because I know that he can. I know that he can put the fear of God in players' eyes when he hits you. So I would have trust him or Michael Ojemudia down in there because they can keep everything in front of them. Now, Justin Simmons, every time I watch him, every time that there's a play going on, every single time he's out of position. That's not a shocker. He can't tackle. His tackling techniques are one of the worst I've ever seen out of a safety. I'm dead serious here. I'm not trying to be like, I'm a Justin Simmons hater. I've been on this train for about a year and a half now since they were promoting this guy. He doesn't have the requisite makeup speed. Every time he go against a Darren Waller, a Travis Kelce, a George Kittle, et cetera, whatever you want to think, a slot receiver, a Henry Ruggs, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, whatever, Hunter Renfrow from the Raiders, he gets beat time after time after time after time. I don't understand why they paid this guy the money that they did, but I can see it because he's Elway. Yep. I don't understand this player. I don't understand why people are so, in love with this player. He's a good player.
There's only one reason they are, because they can't. They just want to believe. They listen to garbage in, garbage out. They listen to garbage. They don't want to look at film. I showed the film. What was the reaction? Right? How dare you show us what's actually going on? I'm listening. This is what they say. I'm listening to sports talk radio, and all the people that echo that. I had somebody say, I don't listen to sports talk radio. You do, because you listen to all the people echoing it. So you do. So they echo the sports talk radio. Simmons. This is my theory on this, because you're right. The whole Simmons thing is strange, but it isn't strange when you realize who Simmons got. Who is? I've come to this conclusion too, that Elway has turned Pat Boland's organization into his own prison. Cody Rourke brought a former Bronco on. I don't know if you remember that guy's name. We linked to his interview, and he said basically it's the island of misfit toys. Basically, that people are like, why are these players being promoted and these players being trashed out? There's a movie called The Longest Yard, and I'm not kidding. And Elway absolutely plays the role of Warden Hazen. And we can get into how this plays with Drew Lock, and he's playing the role of Crewe, the quarterback that's been sent to prison. And he is kind of a quarterback who was sent to prison. Think about it. But Simmons is one of his guys. I think this is what my theory is. I don't think Elway was comfortable in having Von Miller as the mascot of the team. Didn't know whether or not he was going to leave, you know, and he needed to have his replacement to be the mascot. Simmons is Elway's guy all the way. There's no question about that. And this is what you have in Warden Hazen's, Elway's prison friggin' organization is somebody like him just getting promoted and everybody else scratching their head. Go ahead.
I think there's two players on this roster that are Elway guys, and he did draft Justin Simmons, and I think Garrett Bowles is another one. I think those are two Elway guys that he wants to promote out there. I've noticed this since they've given Garrett Bowles. This is a little off topic, but ever since they gave Garrett Bowles that top left tackle money, they're starting to promote him slowly but surely, like they were doing with Simmons. They do it in a slow, like a slow evil way that is weird. And with Justin Simmons, this is something that I have continually said. He is not a safety where he is not an instinctual player. And what I mean by that is they say that he's a very smart instinctual player, but if you go back and watch the film, he's not. He's not, because he can't understand how to. There's a difference between knowing how to neutralize the middle of the field and neutralizing your player. And he doesn't know the difference between the two. He just doesn't know the difference between the two. And when you sit here and think about, this defense is going to be better than the 2015 defense, and I'm going to send you – no, they are saying this. I'm going to send you a interview that TJ Ward did I think it was about a few months ago in Denver. And that laugh, just the exact same laugh. He thought it was ridiculous. It's PFF bullshit that Elway likes to promote, the Pro Football Focus. And he basically said they don't even have the front seven that we did. So I'm going to say, and TJ Ward is one of my favorite safeties to ever come through Denver, that people like to hate on, saying that he didn't have the coverage ability. Well, he was the heart and soul of that secondary and of that defense. And I'm going to tell you right now, this interview is going to shock a lot of people when I send it to you, and you can add it wherever you want to, but it's going to shock.
We'll link it. We'll link the interview, and I'll put that on. Well, you know how it's going to be received is. No. I got to let you know that we're getting subscribers from other teams who actually like the Broncos. They don't hate the Broncos. They like the Broncos. And they said, you know what? You guys got it right. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Keep chipping away, because, when the whole house of cards falls, and they all see Elway too. None of them would ever want Elway even to be anywhere near their organization. They realize the cancer he is. And they all say that. They said, your fan base doesn't get it. And this is the problem. This is what you had somebody, commenting, I don't like your channel, and, I don't listen to sports talk radio. Well, you do, because you listen to all the other garbage, and you even alluded to that all the garbage all they do is echo it's the echo chamber. But they said that Elway has sabotaged this team, maybe not intentionally, but has sabotaged this team. But this is what they don't know. This is what all of them don't know, is that all these people in sports talk radio are Elway's people too. And it would be a whole different, like I bring up Josh McDaniels, because I said if it was him being in there, they would at least be critical on everything. And they wouldn't be sugarcoating, we wouldn't have had Rodgers is signing he's signing right now. That had to come from Dove Valley. That had to come from Dove Valley.
Came from Mark Schlereth, so of course it came from Dove Valley.
Well, and Oakley Dokley Stokely, and look at everybody looks at this quarterback competition like it's a real thing. And I don't understand what these people are completely forgot about the last 3 months. What happened right around the draft? We don't have a quarterback, right? And then what happened after the draft when we called bullshit? And of course, Rodgers wasn't here. We still don't have we don't have a quarterback. They go out and get Bridgewater, right? Because we don't have a quarterback. They tried really hard to get Stafford. He had nothing to do with the Denver Broncos. Because what? We didn't have a quarterback. If you think for a moment that Warden Hazen, John Elway, the warden of the prison there, wants anything to do with or with anything to do with Drew Lock, you're on crack. You're on crack, and it's almost there's the scene, and I can bring up the longest yard because the scene is when Burt Reynolds wins the game and Eddie Albert plays the warden. He just like with a disdain, ugh. And that's how I feel this is what we were talking in the beginning of the show, that there was Cody Rourke had a Bronco on. He said, this is the environment. And we're going to get into STR bemoaning how unenthused the players are. But that's the environment that certain, Elway just looks at other, good players like Philip Lindsay with disdain, Drew Lock. And let me ask you this question. Do you really think Elway really cares about Fant in any way like he does Jerry Jeudy?
I think that if he cared about Fant, he would have kept Rich Scangarello. That's my answer to your question.
So there's players I don't think he just doesn't. I mean, it's almost a popularity contest that involves him. Who did I draft? What makes me the name? Because he failed so miserably as a general manager that it has really fueled his ego, his bruised ego, and he sends talking points out to sports talk radio. Just get Joe Lock and we don't have a quarterback. Get rid of him.
Well, just to go off of your point about this whole thing about his ego for players, I think we saw that with Garrett Bowles when he consistently and continually every single year went after offensive line coach to finally get Mike Munchak to come here. I'm so shocked that Mike Munchak's here. He would do so much better somewhere else.
He didn't realize he was getting into a prison.
Yeah, he didn't realize that. And that's the thing that Vic Fangio has realized, that's probably why Rich Scangarello challenged Elway. That's why he's gone. It's not because of Fangio. It's because Rich Scangarello and Elway clashed. That's what happened. Because Joe Flacco called out Elway after the Colts game. Look what happened. He went on the injured, and then he got cut in the offseason. If you challenge Elway, you're going to get cut or traded. That's just the reality of the situation.
Well, he hung on to Paxton Lynch because that was his pick. This is it too. And everybody was like, well, then just play him. Well, I can't play because that would expose him, just like a la Simmons, right? I want Simmons out this has all got to be Elway. I want Simmons out on the field. Don't put him in a situation where, the spotlight's on him. Because he is. I'm like looking for this guy and like, what are you doing? We put the spotlight on him.
Fangio's protecting him for a reason because he's limited in his skill set.
So let's go entertain this question. Sports Talk Radio just keeps saying, we being Elway. John Elway gave Fangio. There's no excuse for Fangio. You've brought up TJ Ward. This doesn't look anything like the team he had, any of his teams. This is totally Elway's concept, or the people around Elway. This hard on the edges, soft in the middle. And it is not going to be Fangio. And Fangio will succeed once he leaves here. He will succeed, just like everybody else is succeeding once they leave here. And again, the players, we have the island of misfit toys where Drew Lock is basically I said the same thing too at the last week. I'd left at the end of the week, but all I heard was how he threw an interception. This is just like last year. And I said, well, wait, what? Are you joking? We're talking, this is practice. And then as it turns out, this wasn't for me. I went and listened to other fans who keep track of this stuff. How many interceptions did Lock versus, and Bridgewater, if you go by interceptions, is having a much, much worse camp than Drew Lock. And this is absolutely driving the sports talk radio people up the wall because it completely shattered their narrative. Although this is practice, again, I don't look into it all that much. I mean, the interception game that people are playing, it's practice, okay? It could be a multitude of different reasons, for things going on. But when you look at it, it looks like Locke is having a much better camp, and they can't hide that fact because people are there watching it, and they're commenting that, well, I went there, and it looks like Locke is clearly ahead of this guy. There and now, what did we say that was? What did we say when Bridgewater was brought in? What was the first thing we said? Go ahead. About Bridgewater. What did we say about what was going to happen?
Oh, he's going to get buried.
He's going to get buried. And what have you been hearing?
What I've been hearing it from what all the reports are is, I'm listening to sports talk radio yesterday, and they were saying that, they were advocating for Teddy Bridgewater 2-3 months ago, and now they're advocating, they're both backup quarterbacks. Peter King said it. Now we have to go after Aaron Rodgers and keep going after a quarterback until we get one. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like James Marilat, for all the crap that we give James Marilat, and I give him a lot of crap. He actually said something that was truthful, that we keep putting players a square peg in a round hole with these players like a Drew Lock. Oh my gosh, you've been saying that longer than all these people have started saying it. Now they're starting to get the narrative. James Marilat's not going to say who it is because he's on the Broncos payroll, but at least he said that we keep putting Drew Lock a square peg in a round hole. This is why you should have kept Rich Scangarello. You should have kept the West Coast zone running play action scheme with the Kyle Shanahan offense. But no, you had to go after Pat Shurmur. I was the first person saying that, hey, look out for a Teddy Bridgewater trade before the draft. It happened because of the connections. Shocker. And so they're already burying Teddy Bridgewater. And they've already buried Drew Lock. So it's not a shocker that they keep throwing this guy. Drew Lock is the most hated Broncos quarterback since Kyle Lorton.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange to me. Well, I mean, it's not strange, I guess, but it's obvious. It's really, really obvious how they want him out the door. I mean, let me ask you this: how would you feel if you were Crewe, the guy from The Longest Mile, Drew Lock, going to the prison, Elway's prison, knowing the warden hates your guts? Well, how would you like to work in an environment where the front office hates you, can't stand you? The only thing, my advice to anybody who's associated with Drew Lock and can get this to him, is that do as good as you can just to piss John Elway off, just like Burt Reynolds did in that movie, The Longest Yard. I mean, that's the way to get him, is do good.
I think you're onto something, because I think what pissed off Elway is when he went and worked with Peyton Manning this offseason. I think that's what really pissed him off, to the point where he wanted to spread this narrative that he's the same old Drew Lock, that he's just having the same old issues. He's throwing interceptions at camp, but deep down, he knows. If Drew Lock, if you ever listen to this, I'm going to tell you something right now. If I were you, I would shove it right to the man, and I would shove it just like Von Miller does. You know who it is. You know who to shove it to. And that's John Elway, sitting at the director of player personnel, who is not drinking his beer in Hawaii. He is up there in the director of player personnel, and this is my advice to Drew Lock. I would shove it to STR, and I would shove it right to Elway, because those are the direct people that you need to prove wrong. Because, yes, you need to prove me wrong with some of the things that you need to work on, but you are a willing learner, and they just need to stick to a freaking system, but they won't do that. So Drew Lock, my advice to you, stick it to everybody that thinks that you are dog shit, basically.
Yeah, and Teddy Bridgewater, I'm sorry, but you've been thrust into a prison. You're not in an NFL organization. You are in a prison. And we try to tell everybody out there who just doesn't, they don't want to see or hear anything, that they will.
Where's the Teddy fan now? Where is he?
Oh, he's evaporated. They all slink away. It's like, What happens when I told you I went to the grocery store, and the magazine Lindsay's pro football. They've been around 100 years. They had Dre'mont Jones listed dead last in their 3-4. In their 3-4, all the players, he was tied dead. He was tied dead last. I don't know who with, but so it's not just us. We're trying to, like I said, we would love to say that we have the best, and if we had the best or we thought we had the best, we would tell you that. But when we look at the film and we see the guy we see an Oakland Raider Las Vegas Raider guy with one hand keeping Dre'mont Jones. You can't even get around him. He's got to go like this. They see film too. They look at the film. They're not just looking at stats. We're not bringing you crap. We're trying to this team needs to be revamped.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry to interrupt you. I think 2 or 3 years that you're going to see this whole team implode. I think that's the time frame. Hopefully, if we get a right owner, that's a different subject. We've already talked about that. But Dre'mont Jones, I was saying it when that film review came out of mine. That was just 5 videos. I'm sorry about the 5 videos, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God. But you clearly saw a guy that doesn't fit the 3-4 scheme. He doesn't fit the 3-4 scheme. He fits better in a 4-3 wide tech scheme. He's a 5 tech. He is a 5 tech. He can be an edge rusher in a 4-3. He is not a 3-4 defensive end that's a run stopper. You need in a 3-4 defense, you need guys that are like 6'3", 300 and some pounds to plug up the middle of the field, to plug up the A and B gaps. So that's why you have Malik Jackson and Derek Wolfe and Sylvester Williams and Terrence Knighton and guys like that plugged up the middle of the field that helped out DeMarcus Ware, Elvis Dumerville, Von Miller, Shaquille Barrett, Shane Ray, all those edge rushers that were able to push the pocket and had Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware eat off the edges. That's how you do a 3-4 defense.
Well, that's what
Fangio had in Chicago with Akeem Hicks and Eddie Goldman.
This is why they can't understand it. Wade Phillips gave you the model, but you worship the ground Elway walks on. Get rid of Phillips. Get rid of Wade Phillips. Don't pay any attention to that model, which was ahead of its time, which showed how to get the job done. You got to have the push up the middle, and then you got your good edge rushers. You got them both to chew up the edges where the quarterback is basically toast. Okay, you all think this is you got. I don't know. It's the '90s again, like Al Davis, corners. The wide receivers, yeah, go vertical. It is not like that anymore. It just isn't like that. So
everything is predicated in the middle of the field now in football. So now this is how the football's changed. You need linebackers that can neutralize the middle of the field, and you need that push up the middle. That's why Wade Phillips was ahead of his time, because he had the likes of Malik Jackson, Derek Wolfe, Sylvester Williams, Danny Trevathan, and Brandon Marshall, a linebacker.
Yeah, you could have plugged. You imagine what Patrick Mahomes would have done in this. Forget and it put instead of Tom Brady, put Peyton Manning with that clunker offense that the Broncos had. Put them in the last Super Bowl, but put the 2015 Broncos in that Super Bowl. The Broncos, it's the same thing. It's just this time it's the Broncos.
Well, just to go off of your point there, where we're talking about a clunker in the Super Bowl, you saw that in Super Bowl 48. You saw that model with the Seahawks. What did they do?
Oh, yeah.
They had a Gabriel, Michael Bennett, Bobby Wagner, a guy who's still playing in the league, KJ Wright, like all those guys in the front seven of the Seahawks that made the Legion of Boom. Wasn't the Legion of Boom that made the front seven. It was the front seven that made the Legion of Boom and that covers 3, cover 6 scheme. No, you're going to, you know what's going to be funny? Brandon Staley, Vic Fangio's protege that came from the Rams and now at the Los Angeles Chargers, he's going to have a better team than he's going to have better players than Fangio ever had, because he has the likes of a Joey Bosa, Linville Joseph, Kyle Murray, the linebacker from Oklahoma that they got last year, who's a damn good player. You know, you're going to have guys like that, and a Derwin James, who everybody is going to remember who Derwin James is, because Derwin James is up there. Derwin James is a top 5 safety when healthy, and you can put him in the box and he can cover whatever because he's that damn good of a player. So you're going to have Brandon Staley, who had Aaron Donald. That's why he had success in LA, because he had Aaron Donald, Morgan Fox, who I wanted, Michael Brockers, Leonard Floyd, and all those players at Fangio. The base of the Fangio scheme is like Wade Phillips. You need front 7 coverage linebackers that can be able to push the pocket and neutralize the middle field. Then you can run those cover 3, cover 6 packages.
You're not going to hear this anywhere else but here. And I'm guaranteeing you, this is the time of season it's going to be slow for us, because it's hope and change we can believe in. Sports talk radio, fill my ears. You know? And then when reality hits, they'll be probably bitching at us because we were right. Well, right now we're already seeing where we're right. STR, say that again.
The offense is going to be trash. I mean, literally. Pat Shurmur is being innovative in camp. Like, oh yeah, you're going to be innovative in camp when you're facing the same players time and time again. Of course, you have to get innovative because you don't want to look bad. Wait till you go against the big dogs. When you go against the Ravens and Steelers, wait till you go against those defenses. Are you going to be innovative then, Pat Shurmur, or are you just going to fall into the shell like you did against Buffalo, Tampa Bay, and the Steelers last year?
Yeah.
The same old stuff. Like it's like camp last year. Hope and change you can believe in.
Speaking of camps, the ghosts of camps past, STR was bemoaning last week. They were bemoaning that there's no enthusiasm in the camp. And again, I bring up the interview where they said players it's a prison. They feel like, you know, unless you're Justin Simmons or Bowles getting preferential treatment, Jerry Drop Judy, you know, you're like, there's no, you don't have the 49er. They were talking about how the 49ers came here all pumped up. This ain't that organization. It used to be. That's where we say there's a difference between a Pat Bowlen run organization and a John Elway run organization. And do you see this lack of enthusiasm going into the season like it has every year?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you know why I say that? It's because how this team has fallen from the graces. They are no longer on Monday Night Football games. The national media knows, okay? The national media knows that this isn't a prominent organization like it was under Pat Bowlen. And I like to tell STR this. You know why San Francisco was so enthused to kick the crap out of the Broncos? Because they had a guy named Kyle Shanahan who understood what this organization was about under the tutelage of Pat Bowlen, and he knew that John Elway was running it like a prison, so he wanted to stick it right to Elway. He wanted to stick it, and all those players knew in the 49ers organization what Kyle Shanahan wanted. And everybody thinks, they were promoting this too, that, oh my gosh, there's finally been a fight. There's finally been enthusiasm in the Broncos training camp. Let me tell you this. Those players couldn't give 2 shits about training camp. I guarantee you. Because, number one, they're under John Elway's control in an organization where George Payton doesn't have the control like he should. And
the GMs.
As a GM. Yeah, exactly. Von Miller knows that. That's why this is his last year in Denver.
Well, he was the one who coined that, the GMs. I'm not doing this for the GMs. That says it all. You want to know about the training camp doldrums? He said it. He said, what I'm doing, it ain't for the GMs.
Well, STR is saying that this is all Fangio's fault. Like, I knew they were going to do it. They did it last year, and they did it year before that.
Hey, they're doing him a favor if he can get out of here. They're doing him a favor. he definitely got roped into something. I think he was expecting to have more control over player personnel because it certainly isn't a Chicago model what we have on defense.
I will say this, a little off topic. There's a guy named Natane Moody who keeps getting first team reps. Who's Natane Moody? You remember Natane Moody, a guy that, Graham Glasgow, the guy that we paid the farm for, who's the next Ron O'Leary. They're saying that this guy keeps getting pushed back at will. So we're going to clear. I mean, this is going to be great. You're going to clearly see a Graham Glasgow regression like you saw last year where he keeps getting pushed back. We saw it against the Giants game, for crying out loud. This is going to be great. They're going to be, oh, Natane Moody, you're having a good camp. Okay, you're going to go on the bench. We're going to keep Graham Glasgow. That's an Elway guy. Graham Glasgow, you're starting. Start Graham Glasgow. Start him. He's my guy.
You know what I think Graham Glasgow truly represents? I think he represents the fact that Elway can't get top offensive linemen here who aren't either washed up. Jawan, nobody wanted a Jawan James.
Ron O'Leary.
Yeah, I mean, he can't get people like what Kansas City and you mentioned the Chargers. He can't get those caliber players, the up and comings. He can't get he can't. Their agents are saying you stay away from that organization, and I really truly believe Glasgow is a representation of the fact that he can't bring in, and this is what I think that's going to translate into the reason. I think it's hilarious that the national media is on this. Rodgers will be in Denver. It's a joke, and then there will be the Russell Wilson sweepstakes. Do you think Russell Wilson, his agent's going to want to come to this? And then this is what I see. This is my prediction. We have different predictions here than most. I see this whole thing just turning into another Elway can of worms. Another Elway mess. Elway as usual. And of course, Vic Fangio will have to fall on the sword. And all you're going to hear is, we could have had Rodgers, we could have had Wilson, but Vic Fangio, it was Vic Fangio. Well, folks, if you want to blame Fangio, okay, who hired him? Who hired Vic Fangio? Who is behind the whole thing? It wasn't George Payton. Who was it? Say it.
I can't, because it was that way. Okay, it was that way. We all know it. A majority of us know it. I mean, you have some fans out there that think he isn't a part of this organization anymore, so they don't even.
Radio, they waved a magic wand. No, just believe everything we say.
Yeah, exactly. Believe everything that we say. I said it to everybody I knew. When the Aaron Rodgers news came out, when they were saying before the draft that the Aaron Rodgers is signing the papers to come to Denver. Aaron Rodgers is coming to Denver. Mark Schlereth, Oakley Dokley Stokely. Thank you, guys, because I called you guys out on it. I said it was bullshit at the time because it needed to be a mutual interest between both organizations, not Aaron Rodgers and the Broncos.
So no, you're wrong. How dare you call us out? How dare you?
Yeah, go back and, go to your basement and play Dungeons and Dragons, Chicken Little.
Well, there's that Cecil Lammy. He looks like the biggest fool that ever walked on the earth with, Teddy Bridgewater. He
said that both of them look like backup quarterbacks, and he did an article on STR. I'll try and find it. Oh, these two are just backup quarterbacks. I've had enough. We need to go get Aaron Rodgers now.
Oh, you think you're going to get Aaron Rodgers? Oh, you think so, Mr. Elway? You think so? You played golf with Aaron Rodgers. You think he's going to come here? And to go back to what we were saying, I truly believe that, nobody in the national media has given details on Aaron Rodgers' new contract. About the most important part, he gets to leave the Green Bay Packers in 2022. I guarantee you, his big holdout wasn't that Green Bay wasn't going to say, okay, we'll let you go. The big holdout was, the conditions. And I don't believe that Aaron Rodgers was going to be held hostage by the Green Bay Packers. I believe that he wanted a Matt Stafford deal where Stafford still had his contract was still, up at. But Stafford got to decide where he wanted to go. So there. I believe that Aaron Rodgers will have more freedom to determine where he wants to go in that agreement. That's what I believe. I believe he held out for that. Was going to retire if they didn't. Well, it's either, if you don't, because I'm going to be gone either way. So it's in your best interest, in my best interest. You have me there. We got all the player personnel that from last year around me. I'm Aaron Rodgers. Just give me the Matthew Stafford deal so I can determine where I want to go. You can get the picks or whatever, but it's where I want to go.
I don't want Aaron Rodgers in Denver. I just want to be the first person to put that out there. I don't want him in Denver because I think he's too much of a diva. I don't want that guy here. I don't want Deshaun Watson here. If we are right and we get a new owner and a right owner, and I'm hoping and praying that we get a right owner in Denver, can we just please just start over and just build from the inside out like the Colts did, like the Bills did, like the Chiefs started to do? Like, can we just do it like an NFL team should?
Chargers.
Inside out, not outside in with corner, and receivers. Just build it and be quiet and do your job like Pat Bowlen's team was run before he died in the head. Please, can we just go back to that? Not this can of worms every year. It's a quarterback story. Oh, we're gonna
Clown
get
show.
Matthew Stafford is a shoo-in to come to Denver. He is a shoo-in. He is a shoo-in to come to Denver. Deshaun Watson, the betting odds say that the Broncos are on top of his list. He's still in Houston. Oh my gosh, what a shocker. Aaron Rodgers is coming to Denver. He's signing the dotted sheet. I'm staying in Green Bay for one more year. What a shocker.
Yeah, it's total nonsense. And I agree. I think that what has to be, we have to get rid of the warden himself. The train wreck Elway is. The problem with Elway is twofold, really. The problem with John Elway is the people in sports talk radio are his allies. So, and we needed more, in reality, as much as it hurts, you need more Josh McDaniels than you need Elway. And because you need Josh McDaniels, there's no way he's going to be sending notes out to Stokely and to Slareth and every Sandy Clay, all these Cecil Lamb. Those notes, he's not going to be sending out talking points. We know that's what's going on. I mean, we're adults. We know what's going on out there. So what that would do is that would, bring the focus where it should be and the criticism where it should be. if this everything was happening, and I keep harping this, if Josh McDaniels was running this show exactly the same way Elway's doing, exactly the same way, all the moves being the same, they'd all be up in arms. They wouldn't be talking about George Payton. They would obviously they'd be saying he's just an onion layer. It's Josh. It's him. It's Josh McDaniels. It's him. But you don't get that. You just get a perpetuation of really bad organizational decision making and structure. I mean, they promote it. Like, why can't you develop Locke? Why'd you bring in Bridgewater if you know you're going to get? They even said that when he was signing that. This is just to get us those, basically the 9 wins we need to entice Aaron Rodgers. That look, we're just we're just one QB away, just one QB. Red zone woes can always disappoint when you're one QB away.
When the whole Josh McDaniels argument, for all the crap that people give Josh McDaniels, at least he knew how to build an offensive line when you come from the New England system. For all the crap, and I have a lot of gripes with Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
But I think he was too young for the position. I think Bowlen was duped to sign him. I really do, because he was starting to, go.
Well, Bowlen screwed up with Josh McDaniels, giving him Shanahan power. Shanahan was. He should have said, no, I'm putting a leash on you. I'm going to put a leash on you. This isn't about your ego. This is about, can you be a head coach? Not general manager, not all this, I'm putting the leash on you. You show me what you can do as a head coach. Maybe I'll give you a little bit more power. If you don't like that deal, go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%. At least when we had Josh McDaniels, there's an offensive line.
Yeah.
And I mean, and there's a defensive line here. I mean, you saw the talent that was being developed in the front seven on the D line and the front five on the offensive line. You saw that development happening with guys like a Orlando Franklin, a Chris Cooper, a J.D. Walton, a Ryan Clady, guys like that understood offensive line talent, and the whole John Elway thing. This guy doesn't know. This guy doesn't even know an offensive line to save his life. Okay, he doesn't. He went after guys like Donald Stevenson, Metallic Watson, Alan Barber, Ronald Leary,
Juwan James.
Juwan James, guys like that who it made no sense to me at the time why you would go after players like this when the Mitchell Schwartz was out there, who by the way, I went back and looked at that contract. The Chiefs got him for so cheap. So dirt cheap. You could have got him for dirt cheap.
Well,
instead of
you could if he wanted to come here. If he wanted to actually come here.
True.
I mean, there's probably a handful of organizations that he probably would go to before coming here. That
NFL free agent though, because we keep getting the C+, we keep getting the D+ F players here.
Well, look at the Glasgow, and then we oversign them.
Lord.
We oversign them.
Dude, the best offensive lineman for that team was Frank Ragnow, the center. That was the best offensive line. I was saying that at the time that Frank Ragnow was the guy you should have went and got, not Graham Glasgow. There's a reason why Detroit just let him go. Didn't say, oh, we have hesitations to let this guy go. They didn't say, oh, we got to try and keep this guy before Denver comes and get him. That's with every NFL player. That's with every NFL free agent that Elway has signed over the past 5 to 6 years. That the team that is letting them go has no hesitation to let him go. Has no hesitation to be like, oh, we got to keep this guy because Denver's coming after him. No, they think you're idiots. That's why Miami laughed at us when we paid Juwan James top right tackle money at the time.
And let's remind everybody, this is the Miami Dolphins, and they're the ones laughing. Like what? Yeah, by all means.
As their head coach, he was laughing at us.
Yeah, well, that goes back to what you say, Shanahan and all these. He's not the only one that wants to stick it to the Broncos, and not so much the Broncos, but Elway.
Why did Shanahan not want to come here? Why did he not come here?
No. You got it wrong. STR said it was Elway who didn't want Shanahan.
It was Elway who didn't want Shanahan. So why did they go to Elway's Steakhouse in Denver and talk about the head coaching? Oh my goodness gracious! Okay, wow. The minds on these people are like elementary. I can't. It's ridiculous. Because STR, yeah, they're the GM. STR, the GM. That's why. Hey, the feel good fans out there, when they said that Aaron Rodgers was signing that dotted sheet to come to Denver, is he in Denver? On Madden 21, he is. On Madden 21, you can get him for dirt cheap. On Madden 21, you can get Aaron Rodgers for dirt cheap. I tried it, and it's easy. Okay?
Begging Elway, please send me a QB right now. And I don't mean those fake QBs like Bridgewater and Locke. I mean a real QB. We've seen real QBs. They just fall from the sky, these unicorns.
Those legendary Hall of Fame QBs like Peyton Manning and John Elway want to come to Denver.
Yeah.
They want to come to Denver. We are a great organization still. We have the Pat Bowlen legacy still in Denver.
No. No. Now Fangio is going to Fangio's going to get buried for this. It's strictly on Elway. We know that. We're ahead of the curve, as we always are. So we got a game coming up. Guess all like I said, Drew Lock would get the start. See if he can throw an interception so we can have Bridgewater save the day. They mad at Bridgewater now because he's not following the script. He's not following the script. That he's the savior, the 9-game win savior.
I think what you're going to see in this game, I think it's going to show what me and you've been talking about. It's going to show that this team has no depth. I mean, what a shocker. We've been saying that, or you've been saying that for a long time. I've been saying it too, where this team has no depth, and you're going to clearly see it. You're going to clearly see it. You're going to clearly see a team that's going to get run on, and you're going to clearly see a team in the Vikings who is going to attack the middle of the field. And guess who their offensive coordinator is? Garrett Kubiak's son. So you know he's going to be running that West Coast Kyle Shanahan offense. So good luck, Denver. Good luck, Patrick Surtain. Good luck, buddy. We're gonna see Patrick Surtain. I guarantee you Patrick Surtain is going to have plays that you're going to see that this guy. There's a reason why this J.C. Horn was picked before Patrick Surtain. I guarantee it. I guarantee you.
So when will they pull Surtain so nobody can see what we've been seeing in the mini camps or the training camps?
I bet they pull Surtain after 2 plays when he gets exposed. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
Is Surtain really getting exposed, or is John Elway getting exposed? You tell me.
Well,
both.
Both. I'm going to say this. We clearly, you were the first person to provide it, where Fangio made a call to Zaven Collins. Zaven Collins, who he was my top coverage linebacker in this draft, and Jamie Davis was too. People were shocked when I thought Jamie Davis was a first-round talent, and he went to the Washington Redskins. So let's just say it like it is. Patrick Surtain is not a top corner. He's not a Deion Sanders. He's not a Champ Bailey like they're making him out to be. He's none of those players. He's a Michael Ojemudia type player who doesn't have the hip fluidity. He can tackle. He can force fumbles. That's it. But he can't keep up with a Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Irv Smith Jr. They're going to run a lot of nickel and dime this year because Fangio is forced to do it.
Now I'm going to talk about D. Williams really quick. We're going to get a look at the legend that is
the.
Javonte.
Oh yeah, excuse me, Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams, the legend already. Yeah, the next Barry Sanders, Earl Campbell, all rolled up into one. Yeah, we're gonna see, if this guy. The only thing, if the Broncos could get anything out of him, if they could get 4 yards, at least 4 yards a carry, average 4 yards a carry, I could live with that. If he'd average 4.
You know who I'm excited for? I'm excited to see some Mike Boone action. I'm serious. I think that this guy's going to play really good, and Elway's going to be like, oh, no, that's a George Payton guy. Bury him behind Javonte and Melvin Gordon. Bury him.
Melvin Gordon was an Elway guy. He brought, when we were like scratching our heads, like, what are you doing paying this guy this money? And obviously, them moving up in the draft to get a running back, that shows Elway had no idea what he was doing in the first place.
No, it doesn't. And that was all Shermer.
Remember how I was crazy for not wanting to bring in Melvin Gordon? Remember all the crap I got for that?
Yeah, you got all that crap, and we had Philip Lindsay already on the roster. You could have done. I would feel, you know what? A lot of people think I hate Javonte. I'd feel more comfortable if you had Philip Lindsay and Javonte Williams. I'd feel a little bit more comfortable there because I understand what Philip Lindsay's all about, and I understand what Javonte could bring to an offense if he's behind a Philip Lindsay.
Yeah.
But you have Melvin Gordon and Javonte who run the same style, who are the same exact players like Royce Freeman, who's going to get cut, who was remember that great draft class with Bradley Chubb and Cortland Sutton and Royce Freeman? You remember that? That's exactly who Javonte is. He's Royce Freeman 2.0 and Melvin Gordon. That's basically what he is.
So we have a game coming up. It's Saturday, correct? Yeah. Yeah, I got to get this NFL thing going up because I probably won't be able to actually watch the games live. I'll have to just be watching the film after the fact.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of work. Ugh. But I'll bring it to you if I can.
What do you expect from this game? I want to hear what you think is going to happen. I think that their depth is going to get exposed.
I want to talk about the quarterbacks first. Is that
are we obligated to talk about it?
We're obligated to talk about the yes, contractually obligated. Is they'll probably split the 1 reps. You'll get a little bit of lock, a little bit, and then everybody's going to be just pulled. Everybody's going to be pulled, and then you're going to see a lot of They're going to They have to look at the other players. You want to talk about lack of depth? Is that one thing I'd like to see? I'd like to see a real wide receiver competition. Tyree Cleveland, but he'll be on the second. He'll be on the second squad.
Yeah.
But I am interested to see how. You said Judy had some drops in camp already, or
Guarding too.
Because the hitting when they.
So maybe I think what they'll try to do is Elway will want Judy also, kind of like Simmons. They'll try to put him in places where he's not being double covered, or he's more.
It was Sertain.
Yes, well, I think Simmons, put him out on an island somewhere where he's not going to get too hurt.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't want him. They'll keep him out of traffic, is what I'm saying. I think a prediction is they'll keep Judy out of traffic.
From all accounts, I think KJ Hamler's having a better camp than Judy.
Well, I bet you Tyree Cleveland is too.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some iffy things on him. He's been dropping the ball, but that could be correlation to STR not wanting him to, push it into Judy's competition. I'm more of a fan of KJ Hamler than I am of Jerry Duty. I think KJ Hamler, if healthy, he could be a damn good receiver. We saw that this past year when he was on the field. He was able, from time to time, he'd drop a football, but when he was on his A game, he's a damn good slot receiver, and he's not afraid to get hit like Jerry Duty.
Well, we saw last year with Tyree Cleveland that he looked much better than Judy, and as soon as he dropped one, which was iffy as to whether it was really on him or not, they had him pulled immediately.
Mm-hmm.
They had him, and that's why I say STR is like, if he drops one, it means just like Locke. If Locke throws one interception, they make you think he just threw 10.
And let me just ask you this: you really think the players you really think those players in that locker room are agreeing to STR logic, who they think they know who the quarterback is starting week 1? I guarantee you they want Drew Lock starting.
Well, I can't.
I guarantee you.
I can't speak for them. I don't know, but I would assume that they have probably. I think what's going on in the locker room is that I think what's really going on in the locker room is that the players feel sorry for both of them. I really do. I think they feel sorry for both because they know it's a no-win situation. They know it. Well, and like I said, why are we?
That's why there's no enthusiasm in camp.
There is no enthusiasm. I mean, why are we playing this game as fans? That there's some sort of quarterback. There's no quarterback competition.
They already know who the starter is.
They want Bridgewater to ultimately take over. I think, again, I'll stick to it. They want to put Locke out first so they can say, oh, he threw an interception, which equals 10 interceptions. Bridgewater, go save us. After all this post-Pittsburgh Steelers, post-Ravens Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the game plan moving forward. Drew Lock is the most hated player at the front office. We're not going in his direction. I don't want him doing well. This is Elway. I don't want him doing well. I don't want anybody to think this is our future. That is what's going on. Let's not pretend it isn't. And I'm not some Drew Lock advocate, What I am an advocate is making sure that. Say that again.
Stick into a system.
Sticking to a system and developing. I don't want to have to rely on prima donna Aaron Rodgers to come in here on a white horse who's only got one Super Bowl under his belt. Well, he doesn't have the Broncos team around him. Well, you're an idiot if you think that. Number one, you're
back-to-back NFC Championship games.
Yeah,
hey, with a better offensive line than remotely than what we have.
Better defensive line too, with Kenny Clark, Aaron, all those players up there.
Don't you dare talk about that. No.
Yeah, we're Packer fans. We're Packer fans.
You're just one QB away. One QB. You're just one QB.
Like, why did you draft Drew Lock then? Like, still, why did you? I think that was more Scangarillo than Elway.
That's what I said last week. I said that.
No sense to me. Like, why in the hell did you draft Drew Lock if you were going to bury the motherfucker?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I told you that's exactly what they were going to do.
Why?
Why?
Because he doesn't fit the Kansas City model?
No, you got to get in the time machine. And I'll tell you, the answer to your question is in the past. Elway was convinced that Joe Flacco was going to carry this team for 2 years. And they got rid of him. Yeah, he's past his prime.
Remember in the press conference, I still believe he's in his prime.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is a recurring thing. Oh, Case Keenum's going to do better here than he did in Minnesota. You know, our offensive line is 10 times better than the Minnesota offensive line. That's why they didn't go to the NFC Championship game. They did. Minnesota went to an NFC Championship game with Case Keenum as their quarterback.
Well, and it wasn't just a miracle throw. I mean, Case Keenum, he
on in that game.
Yeah, he lit it up in that game. He was toe-to-toe with Drew Brees, but he was doing this. He was doing that all season long because. But here's the thing. Again, the cart and the cart in front of the horse kind of thing. They didn't even put him in the system he was running in, even remotely in Minnesota. With
Musgrave offense.
Bill Musgrave offense was not anything like the West Coast. Nothing like that.
And they had it here in Denver with the Scangarillo, Drew Lock, play action, bootleg, West Coast, Kyle Shanahan zone running scheme. They had it here. That's when Philip Lindsay was feared, was when we were running that offense.
Yeah, but here's the problem. That offense isn't like Andy Reid. That's where you don't.
Oh, okay. It isn't like Andy Reid. Okay, that's why everybody in the NFL is starting to replicate the Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan offense. Minnesota's doing it. Rams are doing it. The Chargers are doing it. The 49ers are doing it. The Ravens, Ravens are doing the read option. The Steelers are going to start doing it. The Seahawks are starting to doing it because they brought in an offense coordinator that came from the Rams. The Bengals are doing it if they had a better offensive line. Like, all these teams are starting to do that. They're not replicating what Andy Reid's doing. There's a handful of teams that are doing that, but not more than the Kyle Shanahan West Coast zone running scheme.
Well, it doesn't matter. The guy upstairs in Dove Valley, he wants the Andy Reid, so he brings in.
Does he forget that he won 2 Super Bowls running that offense?
Well, he's just into what he sees. It's like when he saw the Seahawks defense. He wanted to go heavy defense. He just sees. He's like just like the feel-good fans. They just
ruined Peyton Manning. He ruined him.
Yeah, it didn't matter. He just he had to get the defense built up, which he did. But
nothing. Manning, I guarantee you, Manning will have nothing to do with this organization until that man is out of there. I get, because him and Elway don't like each other.
Oh, I wanted to say something too. We're way off the topic. When you were talking about him being pissed off at Manning. Yes, because while John Elway was repeatedly saying we don't have a quarterback, 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 we don't have one, we don't have one. No. We don't have a quarterback. Remember, that was the talking points from Dove Valley. So we got to go get Matthew Stafford. We don't have a quarterback. We got to go get Aaron Rodgers. We don't have a quarterback. Don't have a quarterback. Peyton Manning completely takes that and turns it up on his head and says, I believe in this guy. You're right. You know what? It's the longest. It's Warden. It's the Warden. He's looking with disdain. Yeah, I'm sure the Warden didn't like Peyton Manning. That's kind of another way to stick it to John Elway. But I think he also feels sorry for Locke. Because he's in he's in a prison, not an organization.
I guarantee you, if Drew Lock went elsewhere, if he went to the Colts, if he went to, let's just say who's a quarterback needy team that's on the up and up. The Steelers, when Roethlisberger retires, I guarantee you, if he went to those two teams, he would have better success there because they have a stable of developing players and coaches and front office and an organization that is not hell bent on quarterback, and all this all this circus bullshit.
Yeah, you're going to get a 3-week ring circus this year. I guarantee it. Especially they bring in 2 quarterbacks. It's going to really, and we're going to see the Broncos kill 2 quarterbacks in one season, even though we officially know they killed.
Is that history, or have they already done this with Craig Morton and whatever back in that Danny Don whatever you were talking about? I mean, they've already done this. It's like a freaking. It's like reincarnation all over again.
Yeah, it's just.
But it's worse because we have Elway as our director of player personnel. Whoa, no, he's not.
Yeah, so Fangio,
nothing.
My prediction is Fangio will be told to fall on the sword for Elway. Another person who's got to fall on the sword for Elway. And this place isn't going to change until, and I guarantee you, this is my prediction, is Elway will not budge until he's forced to by an actual owner bringing in the team. He will stay in there until the bitter end until an actual owner has the ability to throw him out. And that's why he would love to have Brittany there. Because what would the corporate suit, empty suit that Brittany Bolin is, what she would do? Okay, John, you just keep going.
Do what Joe Ellis has been doing.
Yeah, I'll go in. I'll go into the marketing department, and you just do that football stuff. I think
that's what Joe Ellis was doing.
Yeah.
What a shocker.
Yeah, Mr. Stadium himself.
Our field at Mile High.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Beth Bolin obviously would say, Elway, great, nice to have you. Out the door you go.
Yeah, Beth Bolin, yeah.
Yeah.
With a little bit more of that armor that her father had, but that'll never happen either. So
this team is going to be sold. This team is going to be sold, and it's going to go to somebody.
And that somebody,
Jeff Bezos, please don't be Jeff Bezos, please. I don't want it to be a freaking Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't. If that happens, we're screwed. We're screwed.
I don't know about half those. I was looking at the mainstream's choices, and none of them appeal to me. None of them are bowling guys. They're not. They don't have that armor. We'll see. We'll see. I guess according to STR, what is it? Manning's going to be the next commissioner.
He's not.
I don't think that the owners would want that.
No. Manning is going to be in some sort of management role probably in the next 2 to 5 years. I think that's time frame because he signed that deal with ESPN to do Thursday Night Football with his brother. So he's already tied up with ESPN for a little bit. So I think in the next 2 to 5 years, you're going to see Peyton Manning in a management role. I honestly believe if Elway wasn't here, I think he's going to be in management, some type of management in Denver, because I think his heart is now in Denver. I because of Pat Bowlen.
Well, we'll see. Remember, the trust has the say, right?
Yep, trust has a say, and they'll probably ruin it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything else that comes to your mind?
Nope. Just ready for some combat versus combat. We're going to see this team in the preseason against the Vikings.
Very limited combat. And, the defensive line.
For most people, to the untrained eye, I love preseason because I want to see what other players can do on this team that don't get the opportunity that Elway wants them to, and I want to see how they can just stick it and shove it to them. And I look at it more as a technique-based game. I like to see if players got better in their technique, and people don't like to look at that stuff. I do. I take notes during these preseason games, and I'm going to take a bunch of notes. And when we do our next podcast, I'll bring up the notes that I wrote down for this game because I'm going to be watching this game very closely.
Yeah, thank you, and we'll let you take the floor when we do that.
We'll do.
And that will be Saturday night, hopefully.
That's fine with me.
Or maybe it will be Monday or Tuesday. We'll have a little bit more time. You go through your notes and double check. Maybe we'll do a Monday and Tuesday on that.
We'll do. All right.
All right, take care, and we'll see you after the game, okay?
All right, we'll do. Have a good one.
You too, take care. Red zone woes can only disappoint when you're just one QB away. Looking for QBs, begging Elway, please. Send me a QB right now. You send me a QB right now, Elway, not these fake QBs.